Hey, so you've read the title, you know what this is about. So I want to ask you specifically, do you put any trust, any belief, any faith into a higher power? Just anything. It could be God, it could be a pantheon of gods, it could be the computer if you want. I don't know the whole theory around that, but I know there's a simulation theory. So the simulation, the matrix. Do you put your faith in one of these or something else? Because it's super important. It's super important. So come up with whatever it is, and if you don't, let me give you a bit of an explanation about what it does. And even if you do, I need to still tell you why it's super important. Because even if you do put your faith in God, you should still have a relationship that you maintain beyond, just like praying when something's good. You got to pray when stuff's bad. You got to pray daily. You got to have a schedule. And I'm just going to use God as an example, by the way, because that's what I use. So for you, this could be a pantheon. This could be the Matrix. This could be anything. So I'm just going to start with my beliefs and say it in my beliefs, but apply it to yours. So I want to give you a story today, which is kind of why I'm actually making this video, because this happened today. So today I went to a buffet. Now you might be thinking, how does that relate to God? Okay, just hold on, just hold on, just hold on. It was an Asian buffet, and they got those fortune cookies at the end. And I opened up mine, my whole family did, and I opened up mine. Mine had two fortunes in it. That was already pretty crazy, You don't get two fortunes in your cookie, do you? But the fortunes, they said to keep my promises and that I will have a name for myself. I will make a name for myself, which is the way I interpret it is just I keep doing what I'm doing and I'll make a name for myself, which is how it is. That's I think that's how it's supposed to be interpreted, right? So, yeah, that's all. But yesterday night in my say end day prayer, like right before bed, I was kind of talking about how I'd like to up the quality of what I'm doing. Right? I want to make it better. I want to have more value. I want to give more value. Right? And I made the promise to myself that it would be that way. That I would make it that way. I would bring more value. That I would go deeper into this. And in my own way, I've seen this now, and I almost take it as if that was just like that was related. I asked for like just the strength to do better, to be better. I do that all the time. I'll ask for the strength for whatever it is, and the strength would be to make more quality stuff, to be better, right? And I think that's more of a sign. Now, I know some people aren't big into miracles, but I've seen a couple things in my life that I push to be miracles, and this one I believe so as well. Or not really like miracles on big scales, but like signs and like communications and things that you'll see for your faith, which I believe exist. You don't have to believe it, but I believe it exists. So I'm going to tell you about it, and I'm going to tell you why you probably should believe it. I'm not saying you have to, but I'm saying it does a lot of good in your life. It does a lot of good. So let me start off by saying that having trust in something that's above you gives your life more purpose, and it gives it more freedom, and it gives it less stress. It gives it like just a ton of gifts and way less bad things, which is good. That's what we want in life. For example, I'll say the primary example is that we have control freak attitudes sometimes, control freak mindsets even, where if we can't control it, then all's gonna go to shit. And oftentimes that may be true, right? Sometimes things go to shit, but we can't control them. But we still really get on ourselves about that. But we shouldn't. If you put your trust in something above, whether it be God, the Matrix, or Pantheon, it removes that. Because for all the things that you can't control, you just put it in the trust of whatever's above. And then, yeah, your stress is gone. Just like that. Well, not exactly. You're still going to be a little stressed out about it, but instead of being sick to your stomach about that, you're going to be more prepared to just accept it. And you'll be more prepared to just continue with your life regardless of what happened, whether it's good or bad. It's just better that way. Because if you can't control it, then you shouldn't put stress on yourself to control it, right? But we do. I wish I learned that very early on, because I'm really bad with this stuff. I often really overthink about things that I can't control, and you might do this too. But I overthink about things that just I can't do anything about. Things I have no control over whatsoever, no influence over. I know they'll happen to me, but I don't have a choice. But then when this was before I put any trust in anything above. What I would do is I would just overthink it, and I'd try to find some way to just stop it. And I'm sure you've seen this in like movies too. Like you'll see there's a prophecy in a movie, and the character who has who's prophesized for some fate, if they don't like that fate, they go off and they try to stop it. And in the process, they end up with the same fate. Like that's a movie plot that's everywhere, and it's even in religion too. This is everywhere, everywhere. But the thing is that in a way, things we can't control are our own fate, and we can't really do much about them. So instead of beating yourself up and spending time trying to stop your fate from coming, why don't you prepare yourself for when the fate comes, and then you can deal with it more personally and powerfully, because that is an option. That is an option. You'll see sometimes in those movies as well that people can't directly stop fate, but they prepare for it, right? They can do things that'll make them stronger for that fate. Because there's two coins. There's two coins here. One of them, the guy who causes his fate by trying to stop it, and the other guy who accepts his fate but prepares for it. These are two different people in a ton of different movies, stories, mythologies. Like they're all over the place, right? But you always notice how it's always those two. It's never different. It's always those two. And you know how the guy who wants to stop fate is usually portrayed as a villain. You know, he goes around killing people who are prophesized to kill him, or he goes around destroying things that are prophesized to bring his doom, going on a hunt, building an army just to find an artifact because it's his doom. Like that's the villain. The good guy is the guy who just prepares himself for fate, because he knows it'll happen. So instead of sitting there, he just takes it, accepts it, and grows in the process. So putting your faith in a higher power, the best, because that's exactly what you need to do. You need to just accept things are going to happen. Shit's going to go sideways one way or another. So let it, and in the process become strong, become able to deal with it, become better. That also reminds me too, I should definitely talk about how when you put your faith in a higher power, it makes you better at making decisions. It makes things come to you, and you'll find your purpose better, because you'll allow your life to kind of be guided by these things, to be guided by the morals, to be guided by the unseen power, correct? So you allow your life to be taken in a direction that you can't exactly directly influence, which is good. Which is good in most cases, because you're then brought to see things that are not seen, notice things that you couldn't have noticed. And I've spoke about this before, right? I say that you just let things come to you. You need to let ideas come to you. You need to let your purpose come to you. And the only way to really do that is to kind of just do nothing, right? Stop trying to prevent your fate, let it happen, because you won't be able to come to your purpose. Your purpose will have to come to you. Or well, in that's like more of a loose term, but it's pretty much like that. So you need to trust in the power above whatever that is, that you will eventually find your purpose, and then you just need to execute it. So that's how you find your purpose, right? But if you don't trust in the power above, it takes you longer. It takes you more time and energy. It cramps up your life. It makes it more stressful because you constantly think that you should know your purpose right now and you should be on the hunt for your purpose. The hunt for your purpose isn't really a hunt at all. You just exist, and then things come to you. That's just how it is. This has happened to me recently. This is one of the things I started this channel for. It just like comes. You'll get the itch. You're going to feel like shit. It's going to feel like I'm useless and I'm not doing anything. But then it will come to you. And then you'll have it. And then you just need to do things with it. So instead of just trying to prevent your fate and trying to hurry it up, why don't you just let it happen at its own pace? Put your trust in something above. And then, yeah, you'll go to sleep at night feeling safer. You'll go to and less stressed. You'll go to sleep feeling complete because you know that today was a hunt. You didn't do a hunt at all, really, but you still did, right? Because you hunted for your purpose by not hunting. You let the food come to you. Usually that's not what we do, right? We don't let the deer come to us and then we kill the deer and we have dinner. But like think of it like skip the dishes. I'm gonna modern day you right now. Think of it like skip the dishes if it just showed up at your door, right? Nice, you get free dinner. Skip the dishes just showed up. I didn't even order it. So think of it like that, because that's kind of how it is, you know. I probably have a better comparison, but think of this one because it's funny and it works. Anyway, so yeah, you'll just go to sleep and go through your day feeling more complete because you know that your purpose will come to you. That skip the dishes is gonna come to you for free. You know, you'll have that in your mind. You will. So it'll just make your life easier, your decisions easier, your choices. They'll have punch to them because you feel like that's your purpose. That choice was purposeful. That decision, it had a punch to it, right? So just put your trust in something above. That's all. Of course, I must say that there are better aspects to being religious. I will talk about that, but you don't need to be heavily religious. I wasn't the most heavily religious man for a good portion of time. I'd still recommend it, but it's not like absolutely crucial. I'm just, because miracles work for us all. In my opinion, God loves us all, and that's my opinion. Your God can love us all. Your gods could love us all. The Matrix could love us all. Your opinion, my opinion, if it ends up there, same thing, right? Like the universe is giving. It's super giving. And I believe God is super giving. And God, universe, like you see how it is. It could be belief in almost anything, but I believe whatever that idol is, whatever that thing is, it's giving and it's loving and it actually cares. Whatever it is for you, it cares. And you don't have to be the most heavily religious. You just have to live your life with purpose. You should be religious, I'd say, to a degree. Like religious to what it is. I'm not saying religion, but if it's the Matrix, be like that form of religious, you know, to the simulation. But, you know, like try to be religious in that sense, but you don't have to be. You just have to have a purpose. You have to have the drive. You have to have the purpose. You have to have at least the knowledge and the appreciation for that being, for that thing. Because then you'll benefit. Then you'll see things that you could not have seen before. You'll go around the world and you'll notice things like the fortune cookie. If I didn't do this prayer, I'd probably look at it and I'd be, yeah, like, cool, right? Because it matches like my goals, I guess. But I wouldn't consider it like a sign from a higher power. I wouldn't do that, right? Maybe I would, but I don't think I would. No, I think it was more of just a cool fortune from my fortune cookie. But since I've looked at things through a certain set of, like, it's like looking at something through glasses. You'll see it one way, but you see it a different way on the glasses. So if you go your whole life with those glasses, you'll see things way different. That's just how it is. You'll either see them better or you'll see them worse. Glasses on and off, it's either better or worse. So whatever way it is, you just look at it, whatever's best, which I've found is 100% of the time me considering it in the eyes of God per se, and whatever idol you may choose. I believe that whatever the idol is, it's best to look at it from the perspective of that idol was giving to me, or was loving to me, or showed me that sign. I don't think there's many times where we can say it just happened and that's the best, right? Because I believe everything has a purpose. I believe everything has a goal, has a mission, it has a thing that it's supposed to do to you. And I could go on for a ton of time explaining some stories that I think have no upsides when I look at them without the perspective of a god. But when I look at them with the perspective of a god, all these upsides, all these pros, and like there's like two cons, but all these pros. And I would even excuse the cons for the most part. I don't know why it keeps doing that. but but yeah, just look through it with the eyes of someone who has an idol, someone who worships something above them, because worshiping yourself or something below, it's bad in a way. I'm not going to get into like the personal religious reasons of it, but I am going to say that it's bad logically, because you'll make decisions that are just too like they're not, they're too control freak. They're too control freak. Or you'll try to be a control freak too much, which is never good. You just need to accept things sometimes. And I know a lot of you probably don't want to take it like that, but you have to. You just do. You have to. Not everything can be controlled. And I really wish I knew this when I was younger, because there were so many points in my life where I would, and like that's the thing is I'm speaking from a young man's perspective. I'm not old by any means. I don't have the biggest book of experience, right? But that doesn't mean that I still can't regret, or I still can't exactly say that I would rather have it then, right? Because I would still rather have it then, early on. I can still say that, regardless of my age. Even though I had like 2 years of things where maybe if I knew this, it would just be a little better. That's still 2 years of my life, which is big for 16 years. For 16 years, it's big. So I'm grateful I know it now, and I don't ever fret about it. But I'm saying that if I did know before, spot on. That'd be awesome. So, I'll say that. I'll say that. So I wish I knew it before, so I could have prevented a couple things and had a better mindset about things and so on and so forth. But it wasn't detrimental. You can be super old, you can be super young, you can be in the middle. This will still apply. But I'm just saying for young men, it's very good, because we aren't exactly taught this stuff. Or for young people, I'll say, we aren't exactly taught this stuff, because it's just not the way our society works anymore. We aren't told to put our faith in something above. Well, we are in some instances, but not nearly enough. So just do it while you're young. And if you're old or middle aged or whatever it is, do it now, because you still have your whole life ahead of you. Still have the rest of your life ahead of you, right? So why don't you do it now? Why don't you do it now instead of regretting it and dreading on it and thinking, why didn't I do it when I was younger? Useless mindset. Just do it now. Sorry about that. I just ran out of recording space. I feel like my phone's old. Sorry. But yeah, just do it now. Just do it now. Don't dread. Don't regret. Regret is the petty form of storytelling. So don't regret. Tell your story as if it's, even if it's filled with bad things or mistakes or things you don't like, things that displease you. Even if it's filled with all those, tell it like it's legendary. Tell it like it's something that nobody else could have ever imagined. Storytelling is something that everyone can do. So tell your story with no regrets. Tell it with triumphs. That's all. Yeah, I've covered everything. So put your faith in something higher. My step for you today. Yeah, my step for you today is I would love it if you put your faith in something higher. I want you to choose today, and I want you to just pray to that or think about that or just keep it in mind. And the next time you see something that you consider a sign, pay attention in the world, right? When you open up your fortune cookie, look at that and take it, think about it, consider what does that mean to me? And then, just take it religiously, take it from a worship perspective, take it personally, from the perspective of an idol sent this to me, a God, a being above sent this to me. Take it like that. And yeah, that's my only step for you. Just get something that you can worship and pay attention to the world for when it sends you something. Whatever it is, it can be anything. I think all religions are right. They're just, it's a personal choice. It's a personal choice. I have nothing against anything. So do whatever you want. Could be what I do, could be what I don't do. It doesn't matter. It's all perfect. It's all positive. It's all good. Just choose one. So take my step, choose one. Yeah. And that is absolutely everything. So I hope this helps you a ton, and throughout your whole life. This will be super important to everything you ever do. It'll make you so much happier. It'll make you sleep better, make your decisions easier to make. It'll make your life less stressful. It'll make everything so much better. I'm sorry this video was long. It's about like 20 something minutes, but it needs a lot of value, and it needs a lot of time to give a lot of value. It's just important. This is half an hour of your life. I'm sure this is fine, but yeah, yeah, that's all. So hope it helps a ton, and take a ton of care, my friend. Put your faith in the Lord for your care, or whatever your Lord is. Take care.